Hello. It's another beautiful morning. We have another wonderful opportunity. Can continue to engage the teaching. Continue to strive from the island of self, alone, together. When we engage the Buddha's teaching of Anatman, we understand that notions of alone and even together are both inaccurate, a little bit misleading. In one way, we're always alone. In another way, we're always together. Notions, all notions, are the fruit of what's sometimes translated as false imagination. If we explore a sutra called the Lankavatara Sutra, we'll get a lot of words around this concept. False imagination produces dualistic discrimination. All notions are dualistic. We only know light because of dark. We know good because of bad, yes because of no, and so on. But there is something beyond this dualistic discrimination. And it seems to me that all the wise people point beyond dualistic discrimination. Even Jesus, in the Gospel of Thomas, we see it clearly. He's teaching non-dualism. When you make the inner like the outer and the upper like the lower, then you will know yourselves and understand that you're children of the living one. Even he teaches that the kingdom is here now. It's like Tai teaching about how the Pure Land of the Buddha is already here. When we practice mindfulness, continual mindfulness, we look deeply beyond notions into our direct experience. When we know with a G, G-N-O, then we find we're already home. It's not easy, it's not always easy, but it's available, it's accessible. We can do it. That's what this teaching I'm about to read is all about. It sounds crazy. It sounds harsh. Thank you, Yolanda. But if you meet the Buddha, kill him. It's really about if you solidify the notion of Buddha, wipe it away. One of the greatest potentialities of the skillful means here is upaya. This is the ability of Buddhas and Bodhisattvas to present the teaching in a way that is appropriate to the unique being. Each of us is coming from a different place. We have different perspectives. We have different strengths and weaknesses, different kinds of understanding. So the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas have skillful means to present. They have different devices, different notions they use to point beyond. But one of the greatest potentialities of this skillful means is to free beings from their prison of knowledge and prejudice. That's what I was just rambling about. People are attached to their knowledge, to their habits, and to their prejudices. The language of Zen, now here when we say Zen, we should remember that this is a Japanese version of a Chinese word. And the Chinese word is their version of the Pali and Sanskrit word jhana. It really just means meditation. The Zen school is really just an emphasis, it's all about an emphasis on actual meditation, direct absorption. We don't just cling to doctrine, we practice. We see for ourselves beyond doctrine. But there's also the danger that people become averse to all doctrine. Some people view Zen as a rejection of all words and teachings. But this is also misleading. Many Zen people, traditions, venerate this Lankavatara Sutra. It's the sutra Bodhidharma praised. Bodhidharma came from India to China, and when he came to China, he found that everybody was all about doctrine and external display. But Bodhidharma came with this other style, and he had this Lankavatara Sutra. So not all Zen is about rejecting all words. Words can be helpful as long as we don't cling to them. So I'll keep reading. This obstacle, this reifying mind, this real-making tendency, is called the obstacle of knowledge. What is referred to here is knowledge based on concepts. If we are trapped by this knowledge, we shall not have the possibility of realizing awakening in us. The Sutra of the 100 Parables tells the story of a young widower who was living with his 5-year-old son and who, one day, returned home to find his house burned down and his child lost. Near the destroyed house, there was the charred corpse of a child that he believed was his. And in this belief he wept over his child, then set about the cremation of the body. According to the Indian rites, he kept the ashes of the child in a bag, which he carried with him day and night, whether he was working or whether he was resting. Now, his son had not perished in the fire, but had been taken off by brigands. I guess by the people who burned the house. The criminals. One day the child escaped and returned to his father's house. He arrived at midnight when his father was about to go to bed, still carrying the famous bag. The son knocked at the door. "Who are you?" asked the father. "I am your son." "You lie. My son died some 3 months ago." And the father persisted in this belief and would not open the door. In the end, the child had to depart, and the poor father lost forever his beloved son. Good morning. This parable shows that when we have acknowledged a certain thing to be the absolute truth and cling to it, we can no longer accept the idea of opening the door, even if truth itself is knocking at it. The Zen practitioner must therefore strive to liberate herself from her attachment to knowledge and to open the door of her being in order that truth might enter. Her master must also help her in these efforts. Her teacher, her friend, her Kalyana Mitra. Zen master Lin Chi once said, "If you meet the Buddha, kill the Buddha. If you meet the patriarch, kill the patriarch. For the one who only has devotion, this declaration is terrible. It confuses him completely. But its effect depends on the mentality and capacity of the one who hears. If the person is strong, she truly will have the capacity to liberate herself from all authority, whatever it might be, and to accomplish in herself ultimate truth. Truth is reality itself. beyond concepts. If we cling to a certain number of concepts and consider them as being reality itself, we lose reality. This is why it is necessary to kill the concepts of reality in order that the reality itself can be realized and revealed. Thank you. To kill the Buddha is without doubt the only way to see the Buddha. The concept that one has formed of the Buddha impedes one from seeing the Buddha himself. So there it was. That was Thich Nhat Hanh's telling of the story from Zen Keys. It's an old book. We find Thai speaking in a different tone. His tone, his style, his voice evolved over time. It's interesting to read from different periods in his life. Just like all of us, he grows, he changes. But it's apparent that he has been on the path for a long time. He has there's the same elephant viewed from different angles. It's like that story with the blind people touching the elephant. I was just talking about it this morning with some friends. Blind people touching the elephant, they each touch a different body part. And they argue, well, the elephant, or they don't know it's an elephant. They're like, oh, it's a snake. It's long and narrow, or it's broad and whatever. They all have different ideas about it, and they argue. Oh, the elephant is this, the elephant is that. They all have different notions. But really, if they would all put their different perspectives together, then they would get closer, and they might realize, oh, this is an elephant. And so in this way, the Buddha gang, we're all students and we're all teachers. We're good friends. It's a horizontally arranged group. All of our perspectives are valid. They're all equally invalid. To the degree that we cling to our notions, we are correct or incorrect. So then there comes the two truths, the teaching of the two truths. Thich Nhat Hanh teaches about, Buddhist teachers all across time and space have taught about these two dimensions, these two layers of reality. We have this conventional layer, where words and thoughts and stories are valid. Here we are, me and you, these conventional separations are useful, as long as we don't cling to them as if they were ultimate reality, which is the next layer. Ultimate dimension, Paramartha Satya. This layer, words, thoughts, and stories don't work as well. They don't capture that layer. I think of this mantra. I say, I am not what I think I am. You are not what I think you are. We are not what I think we are. This is not what I think it is. It is beyond thoughts, words, and stories. And in killing the notions, chopping off the notions, killing the Buddha, we get closer and closer to the Buddha. And this is coursing in the perfection of wisdom, prajna paramita. So I think that's enough rambling. And if you have time, I invite you to sit with me, or walk, or stand, or lay down. It's another thing I was talking about this morning with some friends. I read the other day a text where the Buddha, he talks about different postures. And he says, from walking, the meditator moves on to standing. They feel, oh, walking is too active, I'll stand. And then from there, the meditator thinks, oh, from standing, I'll move to sitting. And the meditator thinks, oh, from sitting, I think I should move to laying down. Laying down is the highest posture, the lion pose. It's the pose the Buddha was in as he entered his Mahaparinirvana, the great, perfect cessation. He entered into final awakening, laying down. Laying down's great. If you can stay mindful, if you can stay aware while laying down, focused on your meditation object, there's nothing wrong with laying down. All postures are meditative postures. So remember that as we focus on our breath. We use the breath as an anchor, but there are other meditation objects. You can do visualizations. You can focus on a mantra. You can look at a rock. Whatever it is, we enter the first jhana by effort, by focusing on something. And having attained this focus, there's a bliss. We move into the second jhana. But I'll talk about the jhanas later. For now, it's just breathing in. I know I am breathing in. And breathing out, I know I'm breathing out. In and out. Breathing in and breathing out. Thai teaches some guided meditations, and I'll start the sitting with a guided meditation. First we breathe in and we know we're breathing in. Breathing out, I know I'm breathing out. In and out. Breathing in, I see myself as a flower. Like this. Breathing out, I feel fresh. Flower. Fresh. Breathing in, I see myself as a flower. Breathing out, I feel fresh. Flower. Fresh. Breathing in, I see myself as a flower. Breathing out, I feel fresh. Flower. Fresh. Breathing in, I see myself as a mountain. Breathing out, I feel solid. Mountain. Solid. Mountain. Solid. Breathing in, I see myself as a mountain. Breathing out, I feel solid. Mountain. Stable. Breathing in, I see myself as indivisible space. And breathing out, I feel open. Space. Open. Space. Open. Wide, wide space. Perfectly open potential. Space. Open potential. Breathing in, I see myself as light. Breathing out, I feel bright. Light. Shining bright. Light. Bright. Breathing in, I see myself as light. Breathing out, I feel infinitely bright. Breathing in, I know I am breathing in. Breathing out, I know I am breathing out. And I repeat. lotus for you, a Buddha to be. The Buddha in me bows to the Buddha in you. Thank you for joining me. I'll be around. Send me a message and leave a comment. I'm happy to talk about Buddhism and meditation. I'm always happy to have new friends. I'll talk to you later. Bye-bye.